That's something that I think the Dolphins focused on so much, and I think is a really, really smart decision for this team. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. So as you can see, we've got a couple of changes. I was working, all weekend on really trying to improve the channel, coming up with some solid ideas. And the biggest thing that was in my mind is the audio definitely needs to take a step up for you. So, I think if you look at any YouTube channel, the entertainment, is going to be the most important thing. If you're enjoying the content, and I think a huge part of that is whether the audio is any good or not. And so, I really just wanted to let you guys know I'm working super hard on improving the channel every day. I do everything that I can to make this channel as good as possible. So first of all, just to start everything out, I want to say thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing, for sharing the videos, for commenting. I love interacting with you guys down below. So it really means a ton, and it's really fun to be able to improve the channel and improve the quality as much as I can so that I can put out great product for you guys. So today I want to talk about the last, the kind of final 5 guys that the Dolphins have signed in this free agency period, and kind of just recap what I think of these guys, what I think they'll bring to the team, and then kind of the team's outlook as a whole as we move closer to the draft. So we'll go from there. I've got 5 guys to talk about, and we're going to start off with Adrian Kolar. Now, Adrian Kolar, he's a safety. He was with Miami last year. He is re-signing with the Dolphins, and he started 5 games last year, and I think he's pretty good. Now, in my opinion, Adrian Kolar is more of a depth kind of guy, if that makes sense. He's, at least in my mind, he's not like a bona fide starter. But I think that he is, a rotational solid player, and he clearly showed that. He came in last year, 5 starts with the Dolphins, and he played well. Now, Adrian Kolar is also very good in the special teams department, and I think that's something that if you look at the free agency that the Dolphins have had, they've taken a decent focus on guys who are going to be versatile, who can play on the field during regular, 3-down situations, but they're also going to provide some support in the special teams unit. So Adrian Kolar definitely fits that mold. He's re-signed with the Dolphins, and I think it's a good pickup for them. He's coming on cheap, and I think it's a smart signing. So, all right, so player number 2 is Clayton Frazier. He's a safety coming from Cincinnati. So this was a name that I had to look up how to pronounce. Definitely a tougher one, but he has played all 64 of his career games in Cincinnati. He's played in all of them, and he's been really, really good in their special teams unit. He's had a lot of solo stops on special teams. He's had a lot of total stops on special teams as well, and I think that he's a good pickup. I think another guy, like I said with Adrian Kolar, who's going to be versatile. He can be used a lot in special teams, and he's going to bring kind of like a leadership attitude to this team. He was a captain in Cincinnati, voted on, and I don't think that's for nothing. I think guys who understand their role on a team, but they're still going to give 100% effort, even if they're not one of the stars and have the biggest focus on the team. Guys who shine even in that kind of capacity on a football team, I think sometimes are even your most important guys on the team. So picking up Clayton Frazier, I think it's really nice. And then, like I said again, for Adrian Kolar and now Frazier coming onto the team, the versatility is going to be really useful because Frazier can step in on the football field onto that defensive unit and provide some support, but he's going to primarily, I think, shine in the special teams unit. So, all right, number 3, again, another tough name. This was one that I had to look up how to pronounce. This is going to be Groza Hill. Now, Groza Hill, he's a linebacker. He's coming from Philadelphia. Another very versatile player to be bringing in to this team. He's going to be solid depth and very good special teams as well. Now, versatility, like I said, big focus. He helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl when they did a couple of years ago, and he was also drafted by New England in 2016. I believe he was a 6th round pickup for New England. And when you're looking at guys and where they're drafted to, I think sometimes you have to place a value on what team drafts them, even if they're a later round pick. So an easy way to kind of describe this to you or make the connection here is I'm going to place a lot more value on a 6th round pick by New England than I am a 6th round pick from Cleveland. And so I think when you're looking at players who were drafted, even if it is a later round for New England, you do have to take it seriously because this was a player that they saw enough potential in to spend a draft pick on. So though he was a 6th round pick, he still drew the attention of the Patriots enough to draft him. So I think that's something that's on his side, and I think that's something you should consider when you're evaluating a player like Groza Hill. Now, like I said earlier, Groza Hill was a big part of the Eagles' Super Bowl win. He played a pretty nice role on that defensive side. And then, like I said earlier, he was huge in their special teams. So Groza Hill, he's going to come in. He's going to be more of a depth kind of guy. He'll be a role player on this team. But again, another guy who I think understands his role, and every time that he steps on the field, he's going to work his butt off. And I think that's what Brian Flores is really attracted to when he's looking at potential prospects to bring onto this Dolphins team. So, all right, next up on the list is going to be Jordan Howard, running back. So Jordan Howard has had a very interesting NFL career up to this point. Now, a lot of people are low on Jordan Howard. I can understand why. He's not the running back. If you're looking for somebody to kind of bust off a big play, who has that 50-yard touchdown potential, it's really just not Jordan Howard. And I think a good comparison for Jordan Howard would be similar to like a young Frank Gore. He's never ever going to bust off for 50 yards, and he's not going to speed around the edge. He's not the fastest guy. He's not necessarily the strongest guy. He's not necessarily the most athletic guy, but for whatever reason, he's still able to get it done consistently, down by down. Now, a lot of people are turned off by that kind of running back. I actually think I would prefer that than somebody who has the big play potential but isn't consistent. Now, what I like about Jordan Howard, you look at his career stats, you could look at the down years and the up years separately, but I think if you look at his total career up to this point, the 4 years that he's had in the NFL, he's carried for 4.3 yards a carry. I really like that in a running back. Obviously the standard is kind of set to 4 yards a carry, being like the kind of the hump to get over if you're a running back. If you can hit that, then it's a solid mark to be at. Here's how I think that we need to look at Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is a solid enough running back. He is a starter in the NFL. Now, I think he's a lower tier starter. I don't think he's one of the best running backs in the league. I don't think that he deserves a huge contract, nothing like that. But I think that he's a good running back. On a team with the right pieces, the right kind of offensive line, and the right scheme, I really do think that he could be a valuable running back in the NFL if he's in the right situation, and that could be Miami. All right, guys, so here's the last player that I want to talk about, and I actually think that he's probably going to play the biggest role on this Dolphins team out of all these 5 guys that I've talked about today. That's Landon Roberts, the linebacker from New England. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I like Landon Roberts, and I'm going to run you through them. Number one, he's got a lot of experience with New England, and that's something that I like. Now, he was drafted a few years ago by the Patriots, another 6th round pickup, and he's played really, really good football for them. So the number one thing that I think I really do like about Landon Roberts is the experience that he's going to bring into this team. He's another Patriot that's coming into this locker room to play for the Dolphins. He's familiar with Brian Flores, familiar with the scheme. He's going to come in and I think fit right into what the new Dolphins regime is looking for on the defensive side of the ball. Now, he's played in a handful of postseason games. I think 10 postseason games is what he's played in New England, and started 7 of those. Now, that's something to consider here. If you're evaluating a player, kind of like what I said earlier, if the Patriots draft them against the Browns drafting them, it's something to consider. And I think equally so, if you're starting postseason games with the New England Patriots, that's absolutely a standout kind of thing that you should evaluate. Reason being, not just anyone's going to start on the New England Patriots even in the regular season. And now you're talking about, the playoffs. This is when, everything's at stake. You lose and you're going home, and that's the end of your season. Landon Roberts has started 7 games with the Patriots. He's won 2 Super Bowls with them, and he's a solid linebacker. I think he's actually really, really a good linebacker, a smart pickup for the Dolphins. He's a consistent guy. He's versatile. He's had a few interceptions his career. He's decent in coverage. He's decent during the run. He's not a superstar, but again, kind of like what I said with Jordan Howard, on the right team, in the right kind of system, with the right pieces around him, he can be a really nice asset to whatever football team he's on. And right now, that's the Dolphins. I think altogether, guys, when you're looking at the free agency that the Dolphins have had, they've picked up a lot of very versatile guys. That's something that I think the Dolphins focused on so much, and I think is a really, really smart decision for this team. We've got extremely versatile guys. They can play multiple positions. They'll impact special teams, and all in all, I think the guys that they've picked up this free agency are team players. They're guys who are going to bust their butt on and off the football field. They're going to be, they're going to lead by example. They're going to be the hardest workers that you can find. And I think they're going to fit right into this Brian Flores scheme. A lot of these guys that Flores has picked up, he's worked with in the past. So they're going to be familiar with him already. And I think it's just going to be an immediate gel that this team is going to feel on that defensive side of the ball, also on the offensive side of the ball too. So trust in Brian Flores, guys. I really think that he knows what he's doing here. Clearly showed that last year. So we'll see what he can do with some potential and with some real talent on this football team coming into this NFL season. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all the support. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you're brand new, if you haven't seen the videos before, I've got a lot of free agent stuff, so you can go ahead and check out everything that I've posted. I've tried to cover the majority of like the big free agency signings that have gone on this year. And I'll also be keeping you guys up to date a little bit in the future with the draft coming up. So I've taken, work off, ready to kind of bust my butt and really put a lot of videos out for the draft for you guys, give you my kind of analysis of these picks coming up, and what I think of the fit on the team that these guys are going to be drafted to. So like and comment if you like the videos, if you like what I'm talking about, if you agree or disagree with me, whatever you got to do, leave a comment down below and we'll for sure get talking about all of it. So thanks a ton for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, fins up.